I welcome you all to my show. In this show, I invite normally distinguished faculties, successful entrepreneurs, experts from the industry, researcher who speak on the best practices in use, which is used in the companies, ideas, motivation, then research, as well as insights for small medium enterprises and family managed businesses, as well as professionals. Today, we have guest speaker Dr. Evgeny. He's from Russia, and today is going to talk on result-oriented leadership. So now I welcome Evgeny to my show.
Hi, hi Yatish, good to see you
Hi.
again.
Yeah, good. So
Hello,
can you let us
dear
know?
ladies. Yeah,
Can you let us know about more about yourself so that viewer can know you very well?
sure. For now, as it is, I'm a representative of Financial and Banking Association of Eurasian Cooperation in China. Our headquarters is based in Moscow, and I have more than 20 years experience of living in Southeast Asia, like China, Malaysia, Japan, Hong Kong, Philippines, Singapore, and more than 20 years experience of managing companies. And since 2016, I am working as a consultant in consultancy. We have several directions. One direction is we support successful companies to enter Chinese market, e-commerce market, and we help selling those companies' goods and those entrepreneurs' ideas and technologies to Chinese corporates. We are doing vice versa. So we support Chinese companies which are going abroad and looking for new projects and they want to set up it. We help them landing their investments in their uh, other countries like ex-Soviet Union countries, CIS countries, and Canada, USA, not yet India, but hope so in the future. Even we have more difficult political situation these days nowadays, we still focusing that people are people and we want to earn money, we want to do business, and we want to create something good for our children. And we don't care about politicians craziness as what's going on in the world, because we want the peace help us make money and strive in our lives. War doesn't. It's my personal opinion. uh, I am working since I was 12. When I was 12 years old, I was selling different snacks and drinks during summertime. And since that time, I was also always doing something. This is more entrepreneurial mindset, which is very important for us to do something in our life. And what I find out that children really like to earn money. Hmm. Since that time, when I was 18, I was already studying in the university. I'm professional Chinese faculty alumni, and already when I was 18, 19, I was acting as a guide for Chinese tourist groups and also for Russian tourist groups which go into China. And it was a very funny and interesting time. After graduating, I started working for corporations, and from Russia I moved to China, be a representative of a Eurasian Transit Group. It was a railway transit corporation, so we did different things. And back to 2007, uh, unfortunately, company broke up in because our two investors they split, and our Chinese office didn't have any money because we were only supporting agent. That time I have to get all the money from the bank account to pay salary to my workers. And those days I left myself without money at all and have to build my own business. It was back to those days. I thought it is disaster. Now I think it was my God's will. So it pushed me to do my own business. It pushed me to work harder. And I remember myself, I have less than $1 per day to eat. And it was a portion of what's called spaghetti, Chinese noodle, and that's all. And it was tough, but it was really pushing me to go further. And since that time, I was building my own business. We supported manufacturing in China. We were agent for manufacturing and sourcing. We produced different things, and my company grew to 5 factories with my partner, and it was interesting time. We supply different things from China to abroad. After that, I moved to leadership and I graduated executive business education, executive MBA in American Business School, how to understand how to drive business properly. So education do things, but I would say most important entrepreneurial experience. And education, it's if you have a diamond, you still need to carve it. So this is more like a carving, but entrepreneurial experience is this diamond. Please don't think opposite. What I gained from MBA is the connections. We had 50 very smart people and more than several thousand alumni of this business school. And this is what we gain. We gain those possibility to contact each other if we need help, if we need support. And we gain this support because of alumni brotherhood. And since that time, I was focusing more on selling to Chinese people. We built factory with my partner in Eastern Europe for mineral water and snacks and start selling it into China to Chinese people. I have wrote several books on this topic on the business development. For example, this one is about how natural born entrepreneur was struggling in growing business. And since that time, I find out that next level of business and life is about e-commerce. And in 2019, I wrote another book, e-commerce. If you are not online, you don't exist. And it was a prediction because in 2020, in the next year of this book being published, we find out that there is lockdowns, COVID-19 restrictions, and most of the businessmen who were offline doing business, they struggled very much and they got into big difficulties and problems. And since that time, I'm very concerned about offline business and truly believe in online and advise businesses to go online and try to build something online. Seeing what you can do this, whether you can promote via online or acting online. We are now online, right? I'm in Moscow, you are somewhere in the world, and we are discussing our cooperation and friendships and potential things, right? And we are not sitting to each other, but we can drink tea together, right? Cheers, or something else if you wish. Uh,
Yes.
those days I find, yeah, Peach.
Yeah, yeah, continue, continue.
And those days I find out one thing that when we were in consultancy business, and when I was a consultant for companies who were selling to Chinese, that biggest issue was a lack of leadership, lack of understanding, lack of understanding of cultural differences, because European American companies, Russian companies have other way of thinking, other way of viewing things and business nature. And it was completely different from China. And I guess from India too. The way of we start business is different. And many people don't understand this. And when companies were coming to Chinese market and trying to set up business there, they were acting as at their home countries. And those strategies did not help. Most of them have left Chinese market. Something like that I think going on in India too. When people come to India and trying to set up work according to their rules, to their foreign rules, it brings more disasters than help to strive. And from this point of view, I have developed my own methodology based on methodology of my superior, my teachers, and Russian psychologist Mikhail Litvak, and my American mentor Marshall Goldsmith. And I built my own methodology how to bring companies and how to bring leaders in the companies to new level of understanding, how to manage people, the way to bring those people best of them and develop it in the case so companies can get more revenues and more promote those businesses and strive and get more enjoyable level of sales. And that's what I want to talk about this. I want to talk about efficient leadership in the companies. I want to discuss how companies grow, how you as a CEO or company owner or manager can grow. Yatish, I would ask you to start my presentation so we can do it more professionally. Let's wait for a second. I will continue to speak. And during working with corporates and also with business owners, I find out that one of the important things is to build a coaching culture inside corporate. Coaching, it's same like a trainer in sport, coach. Executive coaching is acting when me as a consultant acting with the leader in the company, helping this leader to achieve the highest possible results which he has as a potential. You know, if you tried yourself do sports or any physical exercises, if you do it yourself, there is always somebody lazy inside stopping you and preventing you from achieving more higher results. If you have a trainer next to you, you usually achieve much more higher results. The same idea works in coaching in business. When you more from your business and achieve much higher levels. In my experience, I have on this issue, I have wrote another book named Coaching with 9 other international coaches shared their experience. And in this book, we share how using coaching, it's a real case scenario based. It's not fantastic, and it's not fiction book. Wait a second. Signal is fine, Yatish? His connection is fine?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see? Okay, good. So when we and coaching helps companies to achieve much higher level of success in this world. If we take a look at Richard Branson and his corporation Virgin, they, after implementation of coaching, they achieved ROI for more than 400 in their cases, and we see all the success. Same with Elon Musk with Tesla. Elon has several coaches in different areas. So if you want to be an Olympic champion, you have to have a coach. And why then why then CEO who wants to achieve best possible level, best possible results, he should have to. Okay, this is a more short version of the presentation. If you're still here, if you're still with us, afterwards we'll discuss more precisely. Tish, can you switch, start on the presentation?
Sure, sure. I hope those who are going to see this video may write comments to you below this video and ask you questions.
Uh-huh.
So today coming to your presentation, like result-oriented leadership.
Again?
Can I put up the PPT?
Yes, please. Please go with PPT.
Hello. Yeah, can
Yeah.
PPT?
Yes, please share PPT. Yeah. Great. Yeah, I see this. Hi guys, do you see? Do everyone see? This is results-oriented leadership, and we stands for that organizational improvement come with leadership. Every problem which we see in companies, they starts from the top level, and every problem which we see, I would say, very how to say, difficult things to hear by many leaders. That if we see any problem in the company, problem starts from the head. So problem starts from CEO. If we want changes being implemented into the company, we need to start from the C level, from CEO level and the board of directors. If we change C level, if we change mindset of the leader, then the whole pyramid will change. Next slide, please. Yes, this one. And I always ask my clients in coaching, in consulting about their goal, because what we find that normally businesses have very short goals, short time goals. I mean that, for example, in Eastern Europe, in Russia, when the economy is shaky, people have maybe 1 year goal. But in China, for example, companies set up 50 years goal. So what is your goal? Because when you have a goal and goal is big, then you don't do stupid things as a company, and you want to develop as much as possible your teams. What is your goal? And one of the goals we always I recommend to set up is to gain as much revenue as possible, to earn as much money as possible. Because when you put this goal, you will try to work all over the world. You will try to grow your business all over the world. Through this, you want to be the best you want to be. And growing your business coming with nurturing leaders. Nurturing leaders as your team members. You people should be leaders, and not you as a leader only. Can you do next slide, please? Thank you. And if we talk with the problems which coming with leadership and with companies, many companies been really stopping from development is when it is toxic behavior of managers happening. I'm sure you can remember those stories about, or even it's your case. Unfortunately, is it your case in your company and your boss shouting at you, or mobbing you, or having toxic behavior? You know that it doesn't matter if you shout or not. It's sometimes even just a very hard look, and afterwards, workers doesn't work. Just try to guess how many hours do workers work efficiently during a day? If we talk about management or we talk about workers in the factory, especially middle management, how many hours? Efficient. I will answer your question. I will answer this question. 3 hours. 3 hours. This is a time when management or workers working efficiently. Rest of the day, it's about going to have a tea, think about future, or watching their whatever TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or Snapchat, and thinking about their home issues, etc. So they don't work efficiently, don't achieve their KPIs 100%. And how do you think if a boss shout at a manager or said something bad to him or to her, how this influence their work efficiency? After our research, we find out that this decrease the work efficiency till 3 times. So less than 1 hour afterwards, a human worker will work efficiently. And this is why toxic behavior really damages your company. And when I discuss this issue with management, many leaders, many bosses says, "Wow, I'm hurting myself when I shout at my subordinates. I'm really doing a suicide to my own work." Besides that, those toxic behaviors really influence badly on the communication between different departments. You can remember there is always a colleague who doesn't approve things in time, or a colleague who you don't want to communicate, or some colleagues very difficult to communicate with. So it's really also badly influence companies. Mm, as a result of this, there are huge losses of profits. As a result, because people don't work properly, there is lack of communications, so there are huge losses. I don't know if you can see clearly the slides, but it's more than 300% of loss in companies of yearly revenues. And we have data that if a manager communicate poorly, or if a manager or colleague bullying colleagues each other, then a company loses almost $8 per day per worker per each case, if they have these bad scenarios. And the problem is huge problem that bad managers, they don't recognize they are bad managers. Bad colleagues, they don't recognize they have these bad issues. They have such ugly habits, because it's unconsciously. Consciously, we all think we are good people, right? I don't know any person who thinks he is bad, right? And this is why we sometimes being hired by top management to coach leaders, to coach CEOs or C-level managers, to help them identify those black areas of their character. Next slide, please. Yatish, next slide, please. Yes, thank you. Another big issue is a micromanagement. When it's happening, when I don't trust my team, when I don't trust my subordinates, they can do this. If this happening, then the leader have to manage everything. And when I manage my subordinates very micro level, when I control them too tight, what's happening? I don't do my own job. What is the job of the leader? The job of the leader is a strategy. 50% of what you have to do as a company manager or CEO, you need to think about the future. You need to see those areas where the company should grow, where I need to be in 5 years, in 10 years. If not, you will stuck in the moment right now. And in 2019, most of the companies stuck in the moment of getting revenues, and they didn't foresee the change of the scenarios, that everything been changed in the world, and companies should be online already. And those who didn't foresee these changes, huge changes in the economy, in the technology, they already been out of the market because they couldn't gain the speed. And if we talk about micromanagement, it really disturbs most of the workers, especially if workers have their internal power. There are two ways of human behaviors. One way when it's an internal focus, when a worker or manager thinks, I know good, I'm a good worker, so I know how to do this. I'm a professional. If you hired me as a professional, trust me as a professional, I will do my professional level. And another way, another thing, there are another portion of human being who being treated as they don't feel themselves as high professionals, so they rely on the opinion of the outside. So they outside focused, and outside focused, they rely on this, that what boss says. And the problem is when you have more workers which are more focused on the outside, they could not lead the company, they could not be leaders. They can be only very low level managers because they don't want a growth. They are okay. So it really need to be depending on what the position there is. If there is a position without possibility to promote, there is no need in leadership, then those workers are good for. But if you want to develop, if you want sales, if you want growth revenues, then you need those workers which are inner focused, who are professional, then they will drive results because they want to achieve more for the company, because achieve for the company, it is their result of their work. So achieve for the company shares revenues with them as a part of the salary, as a percentage of what they gain. So they want to do their job as good as possible. And when they meet the leader who micromanaging them, who telling them, you should do this and this and this way, then they really losing motivation. And when they losing motivation, they become easily depressed and they are leaving companies. As a result, such kind of companies lose their speed of development in the pace of economy pace. Why? Because most of the professional workers who wants to achieve more, they are leaving the company. They are looking for another company. And the company having such micromanaging leader really stop growing, stop developing. They slowly go down and down and slow down. Next slide, please. Yeah, I like this quote of Steve Jobs very much. Why should we hire leaders? Why should we hire professionals and we don't listen to them? It doesn't make sense. All the time, HR departments, they're looking for the best possible workers, but we don't listen to them. We don't let them to do their job. It's same when you go into your auto mechanic, driving your Mercedes or what car you have, give it to them and then teach them what to do. Or even worse scenario, you go to your doctor, to your dentist, sitting there and saying, "Oh, doctor, you shouldn't do this. You should do that and that and that." Doesn't it crazy? And another thing, why people do this? Why managers do this? Because they feel some managers doing this way, wrong way, toxic way, because they feel a threat. If I will teach my subordinate leadership, if I develop their leadership behavior and style, they will threat my position. They will they could get into my chair, or they could be smart. If they will be smarter than me, they will take over my business. And here is the real reason why people do toxic behavior or why they're bullying their colleagues, because of the fear of losing their job. And instead of this fear, the solution is develop yourself, hire a coach, go to the business school, come to Yatish to his business school, and deliver and gain more results, because you are a talented person. You have much more capabilities. And don't fight with those subordinates. Develop them and develop yourself. We, as personal and professional development, you will gain much more higher positions than you are now. Next slide, please. As I already mentioned, that traditional command and control way of doing business really stops business and preventing them to grow the revenue level. And what's happening? For example, if such a leader feel ill or go to vacation, the whole office stopped working. That's simply. Your company could not work without you. And the question to you, do you want always be 100% in your operations, or you want to spend time with your family? Seeing your children start walking or growing up, or drinking tea with your lovely wife, or spending time on vacation, being on vacation, not being on 3 cell phones every 5 minutes. Or you have to all the time being online, because nothing works without you. Just think as a leader about this, as a manager. Next slide, please. What else? Next slide, Yatish, please. Yes, this one. We calculated and witnessed several big problems. For example, in this book, I am showing to my readers how big those losses for the companies. And once the company lost almost 357,000 US dollars because employee was afraid to tell the boss that they could not fulfill the order. It is a real scenario when employee was waiting, hoping for something. Nobody knows for what for, because he was seeing, it was obvious they are not able to fulfill the order of the customer. And it had a lot of consequences with the fines, with different things. And it was in the garment industry, where with fast fashion and everything should be very fast, and the company could not fulfill the order of the client, and they were too late. And the employee said to the boss that boss, tomorrow we should already finish the order, but we are not able to. because it's not enough time, and we have to we need more 2 weeks to finish the delivery. And the fine was huge. It was a huge fine because it was a high-level brand, and also they have to pay for the air delivery instead of the sea container, and they have to pay for the airplane to drive those containers of many shirts and other garments. Just because of simply employee were afraid to tell the boss, were afraid about his reaction, toxic reaction. Yeah, and this employee wasn't fired after that because boss said, "Wow, we paid such a huge amount of money for your education. I hope you won't do this again. You can't leave us now because we paid for your education more than $350,000, $1,000." And another situation, another big issue in e-commerce, when the company did not gain the approvals fast enough, and they could not deliver new products into the e-commerce shops, and their competitors, they gained this market share. They lost almost $1 million of revenues, of profits. Just think about this. And if you take a look at your business, whatever it's small, big, even if you're selling from the stall, if your worker is not polite with your customers, are you able to sell? Do you have retain of the customers? If you're doing APP, if you're in e-commerce or you do IT, if you workers or you yourself don't work nicely with your customers, then how much do you pay to bring new customers to you? Or what is your revenue level compared to the market? Sometimes when business do this comparison, they find out that, oh, we are hardly looking for customers and customers don't come to us, or we have to spend a lot of money for advertising and they don't come back. So just quick calculations and analysis. Next slide, please. Yes. And when we start doing these calculations, I find out that, oh, when I start working with the leader and changing the mindset of the boss, changing the mindset of CEO, we find out that the whole pyramid of workers is changing. Why? Because the boss starts to delegate more and treat those managers more wisely, more nicely, and letting them to flourish, to open their talents, and those talents being delivering new results. Of course, there will be some changes in the companies because those workers who get used to work with the boss who shout at them or directly telling them what to do, they are not motivated workers. Most of them, they don't want to gain something else. They're passive, and it will require two things: whether help them to change and become more motivated and active, and how it's possible, letting them doing and letting them doing mistakes, and letting them recognize and recognizing their efforts and recognizing their mistakes. Through this way of education, you educate your new team. This is one. Second one, you just need to change people for new people. But again, changes starts from yourself. And even your family, you can start changes from yourself and you will see new results. Better relationships with your wife, with your children, better relationships with your husband or with your children. When you start trusting them, believing them that they will survive. They are smart and talented people, they will survive. Of course, I don't say that, oh, you start tomorrow, start letting them do all whatever they want. It should be step by step. Same when you see a toddler, a little child, you don't let them drive a car this right way, right? Firstly, you educate them how to ride a bicycle, and then step by step delegating more. Next slide, please. Yes, this is the way how we implement Marshall Goldsmith stakeholder-centered coaching process in companies. And this is actually a very simple way how to do this. But very few of managers can do this. Only 2 of 10 managers are having enough strength, having enough power, and having I would say even more, I would say more like strong word. They have balls to admit they can be better at something. So we are helping good leaders, smart leaders, and talented people become better. You are already good, but we can help you become even better. And how do we do this? First, we need boss need to understand, or manager need to find out those difficult areas, those things which prevent him or her to become even better. As good as you are, you always can be better, right? In which areas? Because when you develop, when you grow, there is always something which prevents you to grow higher. You do hard job, you work as hard as you are, you're a smart person, you have already achieved some level, but something prevents you to grow higher. And usually this is you yourself. This is your own habits and your own way of doing things. For example, I really like to work with selling people who do sales. In sales, especially if we talk about sales director, when you grow up to the position of sales director, what kind of qualities do you need? You need to work really hard. You need to be result oriented. You need to sell, whatever reason, right? This is your KPIs, because smaller salary and much big percentage from the sales, and you don't care, right? You don't care about other salespeople. You don't care about other company departments. You don't care about financials. You don't care about warehouse, about supply. You don't care. You care only sales. And then when you've been promoted to general director position or to C-level, CEO level position, you have to care. You have to care about financial. If we have money coming from those sales, if we or there is a debit and credit, right? If we sell in credit, so people don't pay to us, then it's a headache, right? To gain those money from the clients. If our warehouse has enough inventory, which we will sell, if our factory producing enough products, because if you have sold for several years upfront, this is a good for sales, but it's bad for factory, because there is a fines for not delivering, especially in e-commerce. If you're not delivering in proper time, you will be fined, and it costs a lot of money. Another thing is financial things. You have, as a general manager, you have to be more a director in the orchestra. Smart people need to actively cooperate. This is just another way of thinking. And through this, we find out in coaching what is your bad area, what is your black side of your personality. And then we helping you to make it perfect, to make it your own power for your next level of development. You can do it yourself. It's actually easily, you can do 360 among your peers, ask them what you should do, what you should stop doing, start doing, doing more, doing less, and when you will find out all those answers. And don't be afraid of it. Just admit you have something you don't observe. People will say to you this if if you ask it anonymously. But you have to have really strong balls. You have to be really wanting to become better you. Because as I said, 8 of 10 managers, they're afraid to hear this. But if you're afraid, just imagine, does it mean it doesn't exist? If people see this is actually, this habit prevents you from becoming a better leader, better boss. And human nature likes to work with better leader and better boss, even more than they like to earn money. Because with big boss, with better leader, they can achieve much more higher levels themselves. Just imagine, just think about this. Next slide, please. Next slide. You can see those habits which we normally work with CEOs. There are 20. There is, of course, there is more, but this is more. This 20 is a normal one. It's a very widespread one. Many leaders find out those things are really what they want to be better at. As good as you are, you can be better at something. And you, my dear viewers, you can take a look yourself. Is there anything you want to be better at? And then you can work, in your case, yourself on these areas. As I mentioned in previous slide, you can do 360 report, research with your peers, with your boss, with your subordinates, with your peers, your colleagues, and find out which is most relevant to you. And you also take a look. If there is anything relevant to you, you feel yourself you want to be better at, you want to act in much better in. And you can become better at this. And as a result, everything changes in your life and in your career. Because when you become better in one of these habits, it influences your revenues, your success rate, and even how people seeing you. Because it's not important how good you are or how bad you are. Why? Because it's the most important, how other people seeing you, how they think about you. Because it's not about you anymore. As good as professional you are yourself, it doesn't matter. Because of your professional, company hires you. Because you are good, people talk to you or communicate with you. But your promotion, your company development, and your company growth rates and revenues really depends on how your boss and your subordinates and your peers treating you and seeing you as a leader. Because again, even if you're CEO, you have board of directors, and sometimes they stop you or changing you because you are as you are and you don't want to change. Or even you are a founder of the company, you still have investors, you still have other partners who are watching you and seeing your limitations. Why not go beyond those limits? And this is the way how to do this. Next slide, please. Again, in the next slide, please. Next slide, Yetish. Yes, this is a short story I was telling in the beginning. This is my short story of my life. I am also speaker for international different forums, like for example, Europe-China Economic Forum and Russian St. Petersburg Economic Forum. And I'm speaker for business schools and also have my own coaching school, leadership school and consultancy. And next slide, please. as time is short, so we're going fast. Here is my books. Some of them are available in Amazon, but unfortunately, most of them in Russian. So if you want to read my books, contact me. We will find out what to do. And Yatish, I think now it's the time for Q&A, questions and answers. Do you have questions?
No viewer on the line right now, but we may leave a recording.
Yeah? Okay, we are together.
No viewer online.
Okay, we are online, right?
So I conclude that it was a very wonderful presentation. You have given us very good insight about leadership and about
Thank you.
Getting coaching, and I hope if it is available in English version, I will wish to read it. So thanks for coming to my show, and I hope in future so we may invite you for talking, giving us some good insight so that people can get benefited and like that.
Great, great. I hope too. I hope that our viewers can gain something valuable for them. Because it doesn't matter what I'm saying. It's really matter what did you hear. It really matter what you can observe and input in yourself and implement in your daily life and your business activities. If you don't implement anything afterwards, it doesn't worth spending this time. Actually, it doesn't worth doing anything else. Just worse is when you then have the value and put in your life, in your business, something out of it. And this is actually why me, Yatish, and all other motivators and business consultants, we are doing what we are doing. I personally want the world become better. When people becomes better and professional in their lives, that brings real comfortable life for me myself, because I like to talk and to communicate with smart people, with people who want to achieve more higher level in their life. And revenues, it's joy, revenues, your good life, your success in life. It could not be your goal. It's only as a result. It's a result of your properly managed life now. You are as you are now. It's like your efforts and your investments of you 10 years ago, of your decisions 10 years ago. Just think, where do you want to be in 10 years? Do you want to be this like that now, or you want something else? Do you want to gain more in your life? It was my foreword for you, of all of you, my dear viewers. Yatish, are we good?
Yeah. So I just thank you. I thank you and for coming to my show, and that's all I can say that.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
So yeah, bye. Yeah.